Everything was narrated by the Watcher. I forget the actor's name who does the voice of the Watcher. God, what is his name? It's right here. I do not remember. It was Jeffrey Wright. His name was Jeffrey Wright. I completely forgot.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and welcome back to the channel, and Happy New Year. This is officially the first video that I'm recording in the year of 2024. I took, I guess, a little bit of a break around Christmas. I didn't really post a lot of videos, but I did post a few shorts, so they're on the channel. Feel free to check them out. But I'm back to recording. I have a lovely list of a few videos that have been recorded and also are going to be recorded over the course of the next few days, hopefully, and will be coming out to you shortly. So thank you for joining me for this video. And this video in particular is going to be my spoiler review for season 2 of Marvel's What If. This is Marvel's animated series where they tell different Elseworld stories across the vast multiverse. If you never saw season 1, I mean, you can go check it out. Season 1 is still on Disney+, and season 2 is definitely up there in terms of like really good full seasons that tell very unique and interesting stories. And I will say it is a superior watch to the first season, just because I feel like all of the episodes kind of hit really well. Whereas I think season 1 had a few episodes were like really, really good and a couple that were just okay. This is going to be a spoiler review for the 9-episode run of Marvel's What If season 2. So if you haven't seen any of the episodes, do make sure you go check them out before you hear some of my thoughts on them. It's going to be kind of similar to my Loki review, where it's going to be kind of a general review with some spoilery stuff here and there in certain pieces of different episodes. So that's how we're doing it today. If this happens to be your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name is Will, and I do geeky stuff on the internet. I just do a whole bunch of different review videos or discussions or drinking or gaming or whatever that you see on this channel. Reactions are kind of a big thing I do as well, and I just like to have fun, and I hope you do as well. And if this happens to be something that interests you or pique your interest and you're interested in hearing it from a geeky bear like myself, feel free to subscribe to the channel. This year, there is no like official goal for subscriber count. We're just going to keep going because this is what I enjoy doing. It is a very, very strong, productive hobby, and it's a good creative outlet for me. So at this point, the next big milestone is going to be 1,000 subscribers. So I can't get there if you don't subscribe. So subscribe, and if you already are a subscriber, thank you so much for rejoining me on another video. Really does mean the world to me. So let's talk about season 2 of Marvel's What If. Season 2 of What If, like I said, feels like a continuation of season 1 in certain aspects with certain characters returning, but I think they sort of found the right blending of Elseworld story to tell that really gave you a different feel besides just this same story with this different character. There are a lot of the episodes that kind of pull from different elements from different MCU movies that we've gotten. I think they all really work. There's one or two that I would say are probably not the strongest, but all of them across the board were super enjoyable, really well done. The animation style, actually, I feel like they've improved upon it from season 1. And it looks a lot more cleaner, it feels smooth, and it still maintains that sort of art style that they developed with season 1, that I'm assuming for a lot of their other animated projects coming up, that they're going to continue to use that as a similar art style. Of course, this sees the return of Uatu the Watcher, voiced by Jeffrey Wright. He's continuing to narrate more of these different sort of what if series throughout the entire run. Unlike the first season, though, he is not necessarily much of a main player as he was towards the latter half of season 1. This one felt more about telling these contained stories with having one or two major characters reprise themselves in the finale. So the episodes really do kind of run the gamut this year. We've got more of our sort of secondary and third characters really getting a time to shine. Like the first episode is about what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps. So this is Nebula being recruited well before the events of Guardians of the Galaxy. So she ends up being on the planet when it's sealed off for a number of years. And it's a very noir detective episode where she is trying to figure out who killed Yondu and stuff like that. It's a really good episode. I love how each episode does feel a lot different. Like last season, most of the episodes were kind of the same by just telling it from a different character's perspective, or events playing out slightly differently with different people in their place, like when T'Challa was picked up instead of Star-Lord, that sort of thing. Where this one, we had like a noir sort of detective story with Nebula. We had a different perspective of like, what if Hela found the 10 rings? So basically, similar events like what happened to Thor in the first Thor movie actually happened to Hela, but were also put into the region of Shang-Chi's father, Wenwu, and they had a relationship. And it was a really interesting way of kind of giving the same mission that Thor went through in this first movie to Hela, and how that version is different, but also allows the character to develop even further than what we unfortunately only saw her briefly in live action. There was one episode this season that was actually supposed to be last season, which was the Iron Man Gamora team up, because we saw in season 1, Gamora joined the Guardians of the Multiverse. And it was like, well, where the f did this episode come from? Why is Iron Man in that different armor? So we got that episode here, which was telling Iron Man's story, like if he didn't make it back to Earth at the end of the first Avengers movie. Still very familiar placements and settings, while also giving us new perspectives from different characters who never got to interact with each other in live action, getting its time to interact with each other and tell different stories. I'd say probably my favorite episode of this season was What If Kahori Reshaped the World. It was an episode who focused on a new character named Kahori, who was from the Mohawk Nation. And this episode was the concept of the Tesseract landing in their region, in their nation, before the Americas were attempted to be colonized by the Spanish. And it's a super interesting way and a super poignant way of developing a new character well before live action, because Kahori is not from any previous comic or anything like that. She is a product of the What If series and had a major role in not only her episode but in the finale as well, which I found to be a super smart way of introducing new characters and giving them a chance to sort of be fleshed out and breathed into before incorporating them, hopefully, into like the larger live action MCU if we get to that point. Really did enjoy the episode. I love how they kept it authentic to her culture, and the language being spoke was from that, and they were smart and worked with a lot of people from the Mohawk Nation in order to was doing right. I really did enjoy the development and the introduction of the character, and I thought her episode was probably the strongest, with the Hela Wenwu episode being like a close second for me. All of the episodes are really well done. We did get some returning characters, with Captain Carter coming back for her sort of Winter Soldier episode, where she had to go up against Steve and the Hydra Stomper, with the continuation from that episode from her first season, as well as the return of Strange Supreme. That character ending up becoming the villain of the season by trying to rebuild his universe again, even though he really shouldn't, but he did, and kind of continued on that path, which had to bring in Captain Carter in order to stop him, as well as Kahori was kind of wrapped into the whole thing as well. That finale felt a little bit more thought out and a little bit more personal than I think the first one, which was really like, hey, let's take all these random characters, put them together as a team to stop a really big threat. We've seen that before. Well, this one is a little bit more personal because they are friends, and unfortunately she has to go against her friend. There's a ton of cameos from different characters. There's a lot of unique ideas that I think worked really well, like Peter Quill going up against earlier version of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, when in that universe he had actually been corrupted by his father Ego and ended up being sent to planet to planet, starting to destroy stuff, that sort of thing. It was really cool to see like an old school version of the Avengers, where you had T'Chaka, you had Marvel, you had Ant-Man, Hank Pym's Ant-Man, you had Goliath, and you also had the Winter Soldier on there as well, and Thor showed up. So it was a really cool episode, and it was a really interesting way of like giving some of these older characters time to shine that we never got to see do that sort of thing in main timeline MCU. It's really cool. I talk with my hands too a lot. It's just how it rolls. All right. This season just felt a little bit more put together. Like they kind of had a general idea of what they were going with. And it also felt more like a conclusion to some of the lingering storylines from season 1. Like the Captain Carter stuff, the Strange Supreme stuff, introducing Kahori as a new character, not just killing off Iron Man in every episode like it was a joke. Was actually really well done. I like the period piece too of the Avengers forming in 1602. That was sort of a continuation from the Captain Carter episode where she got sucked into a different universe by another version of the Scarlet Witch who is more like the Merlin in this time. And it's funny how live action Doctor Strange and Wanda Maximoff had so much trouble traversing the multiverse where their counterparts can just do it whenever they want. But they're also voiced by the majority of those characters. Elizabeth Olsen was voicing Wanda Maximoff. Benedict Cumberbatch reprised the role of Stephen Strange. You got Haley Atwell coming back as Captain Carter. Tom Hiddleston doing Loki. You had Kate Blanchett being Hela again. But I really did enjoy like all of the episodes. I would say the one that didn't hit the hardest for me, or that didn't necessarily like blow it out of the park for me, was the Happy Hogan Saves Christmas episode. It was fun. It was definitely an homage to like your Die Hards and to your Age of Ultron to a certain extent because of some of the elements that they put in there. But it was fun seeing, you know, Happy Hogan becoming the Freak, which was like a sort of pseudo Hulk purple version of him, but still has like most of his intelligence, and got to see Darcy have a little bit of fun. And they actually got Justin Hammer to come back to be like sort of the villain of that one. So it was a fun episode. I just think most of the other episodes I think hit a little harder for me than that episode. But overall, I think What If Season 2 was really well done. I know I'm probably forgetting a couple episodes here and there, but for the most part, I think they're all banger episodes. They all sort of touched on elements and facets from certain movies, but merged them together into their own unique story, which really worked for me. Definitely up there in my ranking in terms of Disney Plus series. They've already announced that they're doing a season 3, which I think is fantastic. I would like to see a brand crop of new characters. You know, you introduce Kahori, which I think is great. I don't think you need a lot of returning characters to tell a sequel story, because even the Watcher said during the Captain Carter episode, he doesn't really do sequels. Here's hoping that they introduce more new characters, which I really would hope to see. And again, nothing against the Captain Carter character. I think the Captain Carter character is totally fine. I like to see more different Elseworld stories, and I think this season you really sort of hit your stride a little bit to know kind of how to play with those sandboxes, but also take the opportunity to introduce us to new characters as well, besides just alternate versions of some of the characters that we haven't seen before. I'm hoping season 3 is just filled with a lot of new characters and different perspective on some of the lesser appreciated or lesser time given to characters than we would have gotten if a lot of these things were done live action. But I really did enjoy the animation style. I'm a sucker for animation, and I hope season 3 is equally as a banger. So that is going to do it for the spoiler review for What If Season 2. Let me know anything that you thought about the 9-episode run in the comments down below. Let me know if you liked how they did it too, because they just released each episode every day, back to back to back, as sort of like a Christmas tree, which I thought was fun. It makes it hard to do content on a daily basis for it. But I think it was a nice little binge watch to enjoy over the holiday break. And we're back to doing some regularly scheduled videos popping up. So hopefully this should be dropping fairly soon. Thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you were new here and you happen to enjoy this video, hopefully you would like and share this around, or even consider subscribing to the channel. The goal is 1,000 now. Will it happen in a year? I kind of doubt it.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Stranger things have happened in the last couple months. Thank you, Godzilla. But I appreciate all the support that you guys give this channel, watching, liking, sharing the videos, commenting. It's always fun to actually be able to respond to a comment here or there. Just be nice about it is the most that I can ask for. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Got a ton of videos on this channel right now you're more than welcome to check out. Look forward to a couple interesting videos in the next month or two. I've already have a few recorded. I have a few written down. So you do have to subscribe to make sure you stay notified when those videos drop. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, Welcome to 2024, and I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.